Hi, this is Kirk from livingafield.com. Welcome to our video learning series, The Plants That Surround Us. Plants can have many common names. All too often the same common name is used for multiple plants. As you might imagine, this can become rather confusing. One of these plants is an edible and medicinal powerhouse. The other is the most toxic plant in North America. Unfortunately, they are both commonly called hemlock. You can see how mistaking the two might cause a serious problem. To eliminate any confusion, we use botanical names. They're always Latin, not just because using them makes us sound highly intelligent, which it does, but also because Latin is a dead language, and as such it does not evolve. The plant we're going to be discussing today is autumn olive, a delicious invasive. The botanical name for autumn olive is Elaeagnus umbellata. Here are a couple of pictures of Elaeagnus umbellata. The first one is in flower, the one on the left, and the one on the right is fruiting. Some of the common names are autumn olive, Japanese silverberry, umbellata oleaster, autumn elaeagnus, and spreading oleaster. This is a non-native invasive species which has become naturalized all across North America. It is a member of the Elaeagnaceae family or the oleaster family. This tree is typically found growing as a hefty shrub or small sprawling tree. You'll typically find several gnarled trunks emanating from the same central point. These trunks can be up to about 6 inches in diameter. The young branches and stems produce some pretty serious thorns, but as the plant ages, it does lose some of these thorns. The plant grows up to about 20 feet tall and about 30 feet around. So the plant, when you notice it or when you see it, it will be wider than it is tall. The elliptical to ovate shaped leaves are leathery. They're dull green on top and silvery underneath. They're arranged alternately along the branches. The leaf margins, meaning the edges of the leaves, are oftentimes wavy or even curled kind of from the midrib. They tend to curl up a little bit along their length. And when viewed from a distance, this gives the tree kind of a silvery appearance, which makes it pretty easily identified. The bark on the young trunks and branches is smooth and grayish brown. It's covered in tiny silvery flakes or scales. It grows from a spreading root system. The plant flowers in mid to late spring, and you're going to notice multiple pale yellow flowers hanging in clusters from the leaf axils, and that just means where the leaves and the stems typically attach to the main branches. Each of the 4-petaled tube-shaped flowers is about 1/3 of an inch long, so they're pretty small, but they are easily recognized or noticed because there are so many of them. Now the fruit is, it's olive-shaped. It's typically about the size of a pea, maybe a little bit smaller. They hang green all summer long. And they have little gray scales on top of or on the outside of the plant. As the season progresses, they plump up, and as they ripen, they turn an orangish to kind of a deep orange-red color in the early fall. Each fruit produces a single seed. The seed is pretty large in relation to the overall fruit. The plant is native to Asia. Elaeagnus umbellata was introduced into the U.S. in the 1830s. It was done so as an ornamental. Unfortunately, due to the fact that its leaves appear so early in the spring and they stay so late into the fall, it tends to shade out other native species. The plant has nitrogen-fixing nodules along its root. These release nitrogen into the soil because this plant needs to have nitrogen in order to grow. Unfortunately, the plants in North America have evolved to live in our nitrogen depleted soils. So this makes the soil kind of hostile to other plants, which also allows this plant to take hold and grow in large colonies quite often. The autumn olive likes to grow in full sunlight or maybe, very light shade. You're going to find it along the margins of forests, typically like along walking paths or biking paths. Rail trails are a great place for it to grow. They also grow in the road medians and at highway clover leaves. You'll oftentimes find large groves of them. The part that we use is the fruit. The fruit can be eaten fresh and made into jams, jellies, or pies. It's really high in antioxidants and vitamin C. The fruit is a little bit astringent tasting. Some people find it too sour to eat. I think it's an absolutely delicious fruit myself, though. The following slides are meant for informational purposes only. They're not meant to diagnose or treat any illness or injury. Always consult with a physician or other qualified medical care provider concerning the diagnosis and treatment of any illness or injury. I don't want there to be any mistakes here. I am not a physician and I do not play one on the internet. The medicinal uses from this plant stem from the fact that it's high in antioxidants and it is also high in vitamin C. This vitamin C will help prevent or reverse the disease scurvy. Again, it is an antioxidant. That just means that it tends to render free radicals harmless to your body. It stops, oxygenation and killing of your cells. It is an antiscorbutic. That just means that it is high in vitamin C and it prevents or cures scurvy. Elaeagnus ambulata has no toxic lookalikes, and there are no drug interactions I'm aware of concerning Elaeagnus ambulata. This is an invasive plant whose fruit is absolutely delicious. So do your part for our environment. Get out there and eat all you can find. I hope you've enjoyed this course. If so, please try one of our other online courses. You might also be interested in one of our guided plant walks. You can find all of our training opportunities on our website at livingafield.com. I would appreciate you taking a moment and emailing me your feedback on this video to videos@livingafield.com.